Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? How you doing? How you been? What's going on? What's good? How you getting it in? Body getting it funny? What's going on, people?
Okay, I want to share this story with you. This is in the U.S. A man jailed at the age of 14 years old for murder he didn't commit weeps in court as he was cleared 27 years later. Now remember, he was only 14 years old when this murder was allegedly committed, and he was innocent. And basically, you know how it is when you're black. A lot of times your skin is used as a weapon against you and stuff. So basically this is 27 years later. And I want to share this story with you as of today. Now, a man broke down in court after being cleared of murder 27 years after he was wrongfully convicted as a teenager. John Bunn, now 41 years old, wept as he thanked New York judge for exonerating him in the 1991 shooting at a correctional officer of Rolando Neischer. He was just 14 years old when he was arrested over the killing and spent 17 years in prison after being convicted of murder based on tainted evidence. Mr. Bunn from Brooklyn was released on parole in 2009 but continued to fight to clear his name. He was cleared after a retired detective who investigated Neischer's murder was accused of manipulating evidence, coercing convictions, and giving misleading testimonies in multiple cases. Mr. Bunn and his friend Rosalind Hargrave, then 14 years old, was convicted of killing Neischer on testimony. One lone witness, Robert Crossan, another correction officer who survived the shooting. Now, the teenager was placed in a photo lineup by the detective Lewis, a disgraced former star detective whose casework was prompt a large-scale review in Brooklyn District Attorney. Dozens of cases linked to Mr. Scarcella are under investigation, and several convictions have been overturned. Brooklyn Supreme Court Judge Shawn Simpson threw out Mr. Bunn's conviction in 2016 and ordered to retrial on Tuesday. Prosecutors announced that they're dropping the charges due to lack of evidence. Local media reported they won't admit and say that I'm an innocent man, but I'm an innocent man, Your Honor. And I have always been an innocent man. A tearful Mr. Bunn told the judge after she fully exonerated him. I thank you so much for what you have done for me in saving my life and my family life, he added. It's been 27 years I've been fighting for my life, and I've been fighting for my innocence. It takes a courageous judge to make that happen. Addressing prosecutors, he said, you all had the wrong man the whole time, and you have someone out there running free. You had no right to do what you did. Mr. Hargrave, whose murder conviction was thrown out in 2015, will also not face a retrial. Mr. Bunn lawyer Glenn Garber said the problems with the case against him was very obvious. There was no probable cause to make an arrest, said Mr. Gabber. An exoneration initiative provides the free legal help for people wrongfully convicted in New York City. Mr. Simpson, physically, emotionally, as he was cleared. Mr. Bunn agreed. The case was tried, a jury was picked, testimonies were given, and it was concluded all in one day. Okay, so I want you to think about this. 14 years old, inside of prison for murder, which he did not commit, and he's cleared 27 years later. He spent 17 years in prison. 17 years in prison for murder that he did not commit. At 14 years old, he was arrested over the killing and spent 17 years in prison after being convicted of a murder based on tainted evidence. It was a crooked fucking cop. And there's a lot of crooked cops out here. That's the sad part about it. There are a lot of black people, men that's in prison right now. They did not commit this crime. Now, I'm not saying every man inside of prison is innocent, but there's a lot of ones that didn't do it. But a lot of times what the cops will do, or the detectives, they'll basically just sit up there and just put anybody to the crime. They just want to close the case. So I'm glad that they're now opening cases up and stuff and finding out what the hell is going on. Because we find out a lot of this, even men that's being released as far as being raped, didn't rape the person, but they spent all these years in prison. Why do we have to wait 70 years later to find out? 70 years later. Now, 70 years he's been in prison too long. 14 years old, he should never been there. He had to learn everything from 14 years old all the way to an adult. 27 years later, you finally say, oh, well, by the way, we're sorry. You know, it was wrongly convicted. Well, I think you need to wrongly convict him with some money. I think he need to be paid for all his time. 27 years fighting for his name to show they did not kill anyone. Can you imagine? 14 years old, you're just a baby. That's 1 year after puberty sets in. So you spent 17 years, I mean, you did your whole adulthood from being a teenager to an adult in prison. He had to learn how to read, he had to learn how to write, he had to learn a lot of things from prison. So he had to basically live a lie off of somebody else's lie. And when I say that, it means he's living a lie because the lie's on him. He didn't do it. And here it is. Well, according to the source, well, he didn't do it. He's innocent. So he broke down in court after being cleared of murder for 27 years later that he was wrongly convicted as a teenager. And see, sometimes people don't want to think about this, but he was just a teenager, baby, 14 years old. Can you imagine your life just from 14, now you're an adult in prison and stuff? Anyway, like I said before, I love you for feedback on this. Like I said before, send me a story if you have a story you want me to cover. Rave it over at yahoo.com. I want to hear how you feel about this. And like I said before, just a damn shame, but Mr. Bunn, finally you're free. Your name. God bless you. And hopefully they'll find other people and stuff that shouldn't have been convicted as well. They need to go back and release a lot of innocent men out of prison. Because it's way more than just him. Anyway, like I said before, I love good feedback on this. I'll let you know I love you. And thank you for watching. Catch the Rave.